Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, Mountain Gateway Community College has cut all their athletic programs due to a lack of funding. We spoke to some of the athletes and coaches who were affected.
I had a meeting with them, and I had to break the hard reality to them that there wasn't going to be men's basketball here anymore.
After that, a local business is bringing ice cream production home to Buena Vista. We'll have the delicious details.
I always tell people I wasn't born here, but I plan on dying here. And so to bring business to Buena Vista, I think is a huge key in helping this economy get boosted back up.
And later, dry and windy conditions have led to wildfires in central Virginia. Madison Carlin will tell us if rain is on the horizon. All that and more coming up right now on the Rockbridge Report.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Judy Gong.
And I'm Chuck Rutberg. Athletes in Mountain Gateway Community College are scrambling for a new place to compete after the school eliminated its athletic department. President John Rainone told the Rockbridge Report the school cannot afford to support the teams anymore. Claire Hamlet is in Clifton Forge in the campus of Mountain Gateway Community College with this live report. Claire?
Thanks, Chuck. I talked with the president, a player, and a coach. All are facing the reality that the decision to cancel intercollegiate athletics came down to money. About 20 students at Mountain Gateway can't play basketball or compete on the school's track and field teams because they don't have teams anymore. Head men's basketball coach William Yarbrough says he found out by email from the college president on March 7th. Yarbrough says he told his team that evening.
I had a meeting with them, and I had to break the hard reality to them that there wasn't going to be men's basketball here anymore. And, that was tough for them, and it's tough for me.
Mountain Gateway President John Rainone says the school cut the teams because of low participation by students and a lack of funding. The teams were funded through donations to the Mountain Gateway Educational Foundation. The foundation had committed to funding the teams for 5 years. Rainone says most of the athletes were out-of-state students who have to pay double the tuition and often take out loans to cover expenses.
It really became a large debt for them. We've been able to assist them with some food subsidies and so forth, but it was just something that we could not sustain.
Freshman Jaden Rice from Raleigh, North Carolina, says he's looking for another school to attend.
I really love basketball, and yes, I came out here to be a student athlete, of course. That's why I maintain good grades. But I also want to play basketball. So since it's not an option here no more, I feel like transferring is definitely the option I have to go.
The men's basketball team finished with a season record of 15 wins and 14 losses, but they still made the playoffs. They lost in the region semifinals 3 weeks ago.
Best season in school history.
Yarbrough joined Mountain Gateway in May of last year. His contract is up this May. Until then, he says he'll help the athletes find other schools where they can play basketball.
I think we did some special things in the year, and I think we could have probably done some more special things, but hey, things work out how they work out.
President Rainone says he hopes he can bring athletics back to Mountain Gateway in a few years. Until then, he says he's focused on improving housing for students and expanding the courses the college offers. Live for the Rockbridge Report, I'm Claire Hamlet.
The developer of the proposed Spotswood Drive apartments wants Lexington City Council to cut the property's real estate taxes in half over the next 15 years. At tonight's meeting, Council will consider the request from Edwin Gaskin. He owns Echelon Resources in Richmond and plans to build 65 apartments on Spotswood Drive. He says he needs a tax break because construction costs have gone up. City Manager Jim Halash is recommending that Council approve the request. He says the city would still collect more than $2 million over 20 years.
Despite strong bipartisan agreement, the U.S. could still see a partial government shutdown this weekend. Supporters probably have enough votes to pass the deal, but they might not have enough time, as CNN's Amy Kiley reports.
Where there's a will.
We've been very, very consistent, very adamant that we had to get our government funded. We had to get the appropriations process done.
There's not always a way. Parts of the federal government could briefly shut down this weekend, despite a bipartisan budget deal. The issue is time and whether it can overcome hurdles by the end of tomorrow.
Even with bipartisanship, it's going to be a tight squeeze to get this funding package passed.
The deal appears to have enough support to pass eventually. It funds parts of the government an earlier package didn't cover.
There's absolutely no reason for a pointless and costly shutdown.
But legislating requires a series of steps. With everyone in agreement, they go quickly. But how often is Congress in total agreement?
You think you guys should shut it down?
I do.
Lawmakers who oppose the deal have ways to slow down the process. Some say they at least want more time to read the legislation.
You don't even know what's in there and what's not in there.
In the House, expediting with a suspension of the rules requires a supermajority. In the Senate, a speedy unanimous consent vote fails if a single person objects.
One isn't really about the process of whether it's Friday or Saturday or Sunday. It's whether or not someone stands up and says, the emperor has no clothes, the country has no money.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
A Rockbridge County District Court judge acquitted a Washington and Lee University senior of stalking a female student he used to date. But the judge imposed a 2-year protective order on Brandon Conlian of Salisbury, Maryland. Judge Christopher Bilius says that he acquitted Conlian because the state stalking law requires 2 incidences of threatening behavior. The judge said Conlian violated a university no-contact order once, but Bilius imposed a 2-year protective order because he said he was troubled by Conlian's actions. The female student testified last week that she filed the stalking charge against Conlian because he kept contacting after their breakup.
4 sentences down, 2 to go. That's the count for 6 white law enforcement officers known as part of the Goon Squad, who pled guilty to torturing 2 black men last year in a home in Rankin County, Mississippi. The 2 victims, Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker, spent their 2nd day in a row watching as a federal judge imposed sentences upon their attackers. Emily Schmidt has more on the national precedent their lawyers say is unfolding in this Mississippi courtroom.
This week, Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker are watching justice unfold individually and, as their lawyer points out, historically.
Another historic day in Mississippi and the United States of America. Another historic moment, and that's no understatement.
The 3rd and 4th now former law enforcement officers who pleaded guilty to abusing Jenkins and Parker in this home in January 2023 learned their sentences. The first, former Rankin County Sheriff's Deputy Daniel Updike, sentenced to 17 and a half years for his role in the torture attack that included waterboarding, tasing, and sexual assault. One victim was shot in the mouth, then a cover-up began. U.S. District Judge Tom Lee told Updike, "You were not a passive observer. You actively participated in the brutal attack." Judge Lee had even harsher words for Christian Dedman, sentenced to 40 years for what the judge said were the most shocking, brutal, and cruel acts imaginable. Critics blame a broader culture under County Sheriff Brian Bailey, who has denied culpability.
He rose faster in his position than anybody else because he inflicted the most pain. And so we are going to hold Brian Bailey fully accountable for his Goon Squad.
After each sentencing, Michael Jenkins' father thanked the court.
I've lived in Mississippi 68 years, and I've never seen justice like this.
Unprecedented justice, he said, hoping to see it again 2 more times on Thursday when the final 2 assailants are sentenced. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
Natural Bridge State Park is hiring 77 rangers for its busy summer season. A park official says that new hires need to be in place before attendance picks up next month. Chaz Chappell reports.
Park manager Jim Jones says Natural Bridge State Park will need 61 part-time rangers and 16 full-time rangers. He says he needs more maintenance rangers for daily upkeep when attendance is higher in the April to October peak season.
If the park's not clean, the restrooms aren't clean and taken care of and things picked up, it leaves a bad impression. If you're okay with picking up trash, cleaning toilets, and mowing grass, you make a good park ranger.
Head maintenance ranger Jeff Nisley says every day on the job is different.
You come in with a preconceived idea of what you think you expect to get done, but there are things that break or water leaks, things that come up that require attention.
Nisley says the maintenance department is one of 3 that's hiring. Jones says the park also needs retail workers and tour guides. The jobs pay between $14 and $16 an hour. Nisley says most of the open jobs don't need a college degree.
Just being prepared to be outdoors, out in the heat. We're willing to teach people. They can grow their skills here as long as they're willing to come and do the work.
Nisley says the larger crowds create more work for his maintenance crew to manage.
It gets fast paced. The park is very busy during the summer.
Nisley says the best part of his job is keeping the park beautiful.
Just making things better than they were before. Sometimes we have to fix things to make them function, but we also have the opportunity to improve upon things. So that is probably the most rewarding part for me.
Jones says the park now has an 18-hole disc golf course. The summer season starts here at Natural Bridge on April 6th with a kids' fishing day. Rangers will help stock the Cedar River with trout. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Chaz Chappell.
Please check out our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu, for information about applying for jobs at the park.
Coming up after the break, a local business is bringing ice cream production down Interstate 81 to Buena Vista. We'll have the details about this sweet move.
If there's going to be more opportunities for more ice cream or more jobs, or I don't know, I'm excited.
And later, Lexington Pet Place just received some new exotic animals that fly, like to eat sugar, and are cousins of kangaroos. We'll explain why it's not easy to take one home.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Buena Vista is getting a new business with a twist, as in ice cream, and just in time for summer. The Rockbridge Report's Mackenzie Kane has the story.
A new ice cream manufacturer is coming to Buena Vista. The owners of Holy Cow Ice Cream bought their supplier, Draft Creamery, and plan to move it just down the road. The store's owner, Elizabeth Cole, says her family looks forward to bringing new business to BV.
I've always been an entrepreneur, and I really have a great love for Rockbridge County. I always tell people I wasn't born here, but I plan on dying here. And so to bring business to Buena Vista, I think is a huge key in helping this economy get boosted back up.
The ice cream shop is located at the entrance of Glenmorey Park. The new site for the supplier will be the old Mundit Hermitite factory, about 1.5 miles away from the shop.
I think it means that they're doing well, so they should be sticking around for a long time. But two, I know they want to bring the creamery to BV, and I'm excited to see what that entails, if there's going to be more opportunities for more ice cream or more jobs, or I don't know. I'm excited.
Holy Cow will now supply ice cream to other shops, including Bubble World in Harrisonburg, May Lynn's in Lynchburg, and the Beeve in Buena Vista. This week, Holy Cow's owners will make about 80 tubs of ice cream. In the summer, they expect that number to increase to over 100.
At some point soon, we're going to have to hire people. We just need to get ourselves organized in order to do that, because we want to have quality stuff, but we also want to grow the business. And at this point, we've felt like we've had to turn people away sometimes just because we can't be here as much as we have the demand for.
Starting April 1st, the store will extend to its summer hours. The Cole family plans to be operating the creamery in BV around the same time. Reporting from Buena Vista, I'm Mackenzie Kane with the Rockbridge Report.
The cost of buying and selling a home could get lower. The National Association of Realtors, which represents more than 1 million realtors in the U.S., recently agreed to settle antitrust lawsuits with groups of home sellers. The NAR has agreed to pay $418 million in damages and eliminate rules on realtor commissions. Jen Sullivan explains what this could mean for the housing market.
Some big changes are likely coming to the housing market. Typically, home sellers pay a standard 6% commission to their listing agent and their buyer's realtor. But it appears that's changing.
People are going to scrutinize, as they always do, a little more carefully all of the expenses involved.
Last week, the National Association of Realtors agreed to settle a lawsuit over inflated realtor commission and lack of transparency. The 6% commission, at the heart of the controversy, was never a set rule, more of an industry standard. And some realtors say that money doesn't just go in their pockets.
These properties have to be marketed. Digital ads have to be run, target marketing, photographs, all these aerial and drone videos. Who pays for that? The agent is paying for that.
A judge still has to approve the settlement, but TD Cowen Insights estimates the changes will cause real estate commissions to drop by 25 to 50%. It also could shift a chunk of that cost from sellers to buyers. So let's crunch the numbers. According to the most recent data from the NAR, the median single-family home sales price in January was $383,500. The seller of that typical house would pay more than $23,000 in realtor commissions as it stands now.
It's very much deterrents for people wishing to buy.
Right now, home sellers incorporate those commissions into their sticker price. But some real estate experts say this settlement opens the door to much lower competitive commissions, perhaps even more flat rate fees, and that could mean a drop in average home sale prices. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Coming up after the break, wildfires in Shenandoah National Park. We'll bring you the latest updates as firefighters battle to contain the blaze.
Wildfires breaking in the Shenandoah Valley this week. I'm Madison Carlin. I'll have more details in my 5-day forecast.
I'm Jack Hunter, and I'll be bringing you the latest local sports and March Madness scores in about 10 minutes. Stick with us.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. Firefighters are battling a wildfire burning about an hour north of Lexington in Shenandoah National Park. The blaze sparked near the park Wednesday and has since moved inside its boundaries. Late Wednesday, the National Park Service said the fire had burned 100 acres and was only 10% contained. The cause is unknown, but red flag warnings were issued earlier in the day. Hundreds of different fires have been reported across the area over the last 24 hours. Hopefully the rain this weekend can help put them out. Let's go to Madison for the weather.
Hopefully, Chuck, yes, the rain can cool down the area this weekend.
Let's take a look at today's weather. We are moving to a live shot of Clifton Forge. Today has been another dry day, high of 56 degrees today and low of 29. Barometric pressure 30 and 14/100 inches. Wind speed 3 miles per hour today, and our humidity is 26%. Let's take a look at the radar map and see what's happening in the region. We can see some rains are making their way over to us, hopefully cooling down the area as the wildfires in the Shenandoah Valley continue to be an outbreak. And looking at our regional weather, Lexington and Buena Vista, 51 and sunny today. Stanton and Charlottesville, 54. Lynchburg, 56 and sunny. Covington lower at 46 degrees today, and Roanoke at 58. Moving on to our 5-day forecast. Rain coming in starting tomorrow with temperatures in the 40s. The rain will continue into Saturday with temperatures going up a bit into the 60s. Skies clear for Sunday with a high of 59, low of 30 degrees. Monday and Tuesday, warm sunny weather continues with highs in the 50s and 60s, lows down in the 30s and 40s. Enjoy the sunshine today and expect some rain this weekend. Back to you, Chuck and Judy.
Coming up next on the Rockbridge Report, Mackenzie Kane caught up with WNL men's lacrosse Gene McCabe following the Generals' victory last night.
And later, they're small, they fly, and they're here in Lexington. We'll tell you about the latest exotic inhabitants of Lexington Pet Place.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. The buzz around March Madness sure is growing. Any big predictions for this tournament, Jack?
Every year there's a big upset in the first weekend. This weekend, I'm taking South Dakota State, the 15 seed, to beat Iowa State. The slipper's going to fit for the Jackrabbits. The first day of March Madness on the men's side is in full swing. Michigan State in the first game of the day down to Mississippi State 69-51. Then 11-seeded Duquesne upset BYU 71-67 for its first tournament win since 1969. The two Virginia teams left in the tournament, James Madison and Longwood, tip off tomorrow night. 16-seeded Longwood faces Houston at 9:20 p.m. and 12-seeded JMU plays at 9:40. The women's tournament begins tonight with the first four before the round of 64 begins tomorrow. Here in Lexington, spring sports have taken the attention of local fans. On the lacrosse field, Generals women's lacrosse remains unbeaten in conference play following a 16-5 victory over Randolph-Macon last night. And on the men's side, WNL used a strong offensive performance to down the Elmhurst Blue Jays at home on Wednesday. Our Mackenzie Kane caught up with WNL head coach Gene McCabe following the win.
Good evening, Rockbridge. I'm here at Washington and Lee's Wilson Field, where the Generals men's lacrosse team just defeated Elmhurst University 22-10. Now, I'm joined here by head coach Gene McCabe. Coach, this is the team's first game back after a couple of tough losses on the road in Maryland during the Mustang Classic. What does it mean to get this win at home in terms of momentum?
Yeah, obviously it's good to just get back at home and get this win. And we really focused the last couple of days on just getting back to playing our brand and pace of lacrosse. And I thought we did a good job. We were disciplined and we executed against a good Elmhurst team tonight.
Now, Coach, this is the team's last game before an 8-game stretch of in-conference matchups. What will it take to climb these ODAC rankings over the next couple of weeks?
Well, I think one of the reasons why we play the out-of-conference early season schedule that we do is so that we will be ready for ODAC play. And, I think today was a next step forward in that process. And I think we continue to learn and grow and, figure out who we are and overcome a lot of adversity. And then I'm really proud of where we are right now. And, I think we'll just keep getting better and we'll be excited for ODAC play. I know that.
Well, Coach, I wish you the best of luck moving forward. And signing off with the Rockbridge Report, I'm Mackenzie Kane.
Thanks, Mackenzie. The team will have its senior day this Saturday at 1 p.m. when the Generals face off against Guilford College. Chuck, that's all for sports. Back to you.
Thanks, Jack. You can now adopt exotic flying possums from a Lexington pet store, but you may not be qualified to own one. Melo Sambaye explains.
Lexington Pet Place is known for its fish, reptiles, and rodents, but 3 weeks ago, the store welcomed 11 sugar gliders. The gliders are native to Australia and cousins of the kangaroo and koala, but there is one major difference. Employee Tamara May says the gliders look like they're flying.
They make leaps of faith. They will jump from this corner onto that hammock or from this corner onto that shelf.
May says it takes a unique person to own such a unique pet that's also high maintenance.
Whoever takes them home needs to be aware that they are very messy and they're nocturnal, so they are up all night, making noise, jumping around, talking to each other.
Owner Cindy Jacobs says the glider's former owner donated them to the store. The woman couldn't take care of them anymore because of a health situation.
They do bond usually to just one owner. So moving here after in such a hurried way was not ideal for them.
The store usually requires buyers to purchase at least 2 at a time. May says the gliders need social interaction from other gliders and their owner.
They will be skittish and possibly nippy in some situations with new people. Once you have bonded with them, it's permanent.
The gliders include a mom and dad who are each 2 years old. They have 9 babies that are around 6 months old. One baby was adopted by a family who already owned a glider. The animals cost $200 to $300 each, depending on their fur patterns. The store has already rejected several applications. Jacob says applicants must promise to keep gliders away from dogs, cats, or toddlers.
They are little escape artists, so we like to make sure that they're safe.
May says caring for the sugar gliders is expensive too.
Probably about the same cost as taking care of a 6-month-old human, because they eat all of the same things that a baby human has, all the same needs.
May says it could take a year or longer to find qualified buyers and appropriate homes for the gliders, unless someone adopts the whole family. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Melissa Bai.
That's all for the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching.
For more local and national news, check out our website rockbridgereport.wlu.edu and join us next Thursday for another half-hour edition of the Rockbridge Report. Good night.